Hey, what's cracking, Dog Pound? So look, today is National Lobster Day. I know there's a national day for everything. But hey, lobster? Dude, I love some lobster, so why not? So today, I'm going to show you guys how I do lobster tails on the Weber kettle. Let's get into it. So that's right, guys, today is National Lobster Day. So man, I love having lobster on the grill. So hey, lobster tails and B&B hickory lump charcoal, come on man, that's a match made in heaven. So let's get the grill lit up so we can get some lobster going today. All right, let's go. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and prepare our butter that we're going to be using for this cook. And basically all I've got in here is just a stick of butter. So we're going to just set this on here and let it kind of melt down for us. Now to this butter, I'm going to be adding here a tablespoon of just Creole seasoning. Any one that you like, go for. We're also going to add a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Now this is all melted together. This is what it's looking like. So we're going to remove it from the heat and we're ready to get these lobster tails all seasoned up. Alright guys, so here we have our lobster tails. Now we got these lobster tails from our local Costco. And so these are pretty fresh lobster tails for what we can get here in Central Texas, but nevertheless, I'm going to show you guys how we're going to prep these up so we can get these put on our grill. Alright, so let's do it. Alright guys, so here we have our lobster tail here, and we're basically going to make a cut right down the back side of this lobster tail here with our kitchen shears. So we're going to take the blade of this shear, stick it right underneath the shell there, and we're just going to be cutting straight back to the tail, just like this. Okay, so now we actually have this shell cut to where we can separate it apart. But before we do that, this is the way I do it. I'm not going to say this is the official way to do it, but I take my finger and I push my finger right underneath the bottom side of this shell here, so it's between the meat and between the shell. And I just kind of stick my finger underneath there, and if you look closely you can kind of see my finger right here underneath that shell surface here. Okay, now once I've done that, I can kind of flip around here, grab the tail, and I can expose the meat from the shell. And at this point I can grab the meat and I can pull it up through the opening that we created when we cut this shell. Now once you get the meat pulled out of the shell like this, we're not pulling it all the way out, we're just pulling it all the way to the very end of the tail so it's still connected. We're basically going to lay the shell back together as if it were never cut. And then you take the meat and just lay it right over top of that shell and you spread it open. Now sometimes when you get your lobster tails from the store, they'll have them cleaned very well, and sometimes not. This one is not cleaned very well, so we're going to pull this off of here. And basically guys, this is what you're looking for. You got your shell exposed, you got your shell split open, you got your meat here, and it's just laying right over top of it. Okay, and that's what it's going to look like. So I'm going to get the rest of these done and I'll bring you back here in a minute. Alright guys, so now we got these lobster tails all prepped and ready to go. So now it's time for us to get our butter on that we prepared earlier. So let's get these buttered up so we can get them on the grill. Alright, let's go. Alright guys, so we got our lobsters prepared, we got our butter prepared. So we're going to go ahead and apply our butter to our lobster tails before we get them on the grill. So we're just taking some of this butter, and I'm just using a little brush here, and we're just going to be drizzling this right onto it. Now the thing is, if you actually use your brush to put your butter onto your seafood like this, you can absolutely still use this butter as long as you reheat it. We want to make sure we're not cross-contaminating here, guys. But we're going to get these lobster tails nicely coated with this butter here. And we're going to be pretty generous with it. Alright, so we got these lobster tails all coated with our seasoned butter. So now, let's get these on the grill and get this going, alright? So let's do it. Alright guys, we're just going to place these right onto the grill, just like this. Okay, so now that we got our lobster tails on our grill here, we're just going to go ahead and put the lid on. Alright guys, so let's talk about this for a second. We're just grilling lobster. You know, it's not a difficult cook. It's a pretty fast cook, as a matter of fact. And all we want to do is just put it on here long enough to get it heated through. Done temperature for lobster tails, 145 degrees. So once we get 145 degrees, we're ready to put it off. It's safe to eat. So we're just literally indirect cooking lobster tails to get to that 145 degrees. Alright guys, so this lobster's been on for a few minutes, almost 5 minutes. So we're going to apply some more butter. Alright guys, so time to check our lobster tails again. They've been on now for about 10 minutes. We're going to apply some more butter here. So we're going to check our temperatures here guys. 145 degrees is what we're looking for doneness for our lobster. And we're getting there. We still got a few more degrees to go though. So we'll get the lid put back on and keep it going. Alright guys, time to check our lobster here. We've been going at this now for roughly 15 minutes. And we are right there at 145 degrees, guys. Alright, we are there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lobster tail and I'm going to put it right over the coals for just a minute or so. And that's just because I just like to get a little bit of color there at the end of it. So I'm going to finish up the rest of these lobster tails and get them off. And I'll show you what we're going to do after. Alright guys, so let's recap what we're doing with today's cook. So today is National Lobster Day. So we got some lobster tails that we want to put on the grill. So I got some lobster tails from my local Costco, and we went ahead and got those prepped up. We cut the shells down the back side to expose that lobster meat, and we laid it right over the top of the shells. We prepared a seasoned butter that is basically a stick of butter, a tablespoon of Creole seasoning, and a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. So we got that on the grill, melted it down, combined it all together, and then we got these lobster tails seasoned up with that butter. We got these tails put on to the grill where we indirect smoke them up to 145 degrees. We've pulled those lobster tails off to let them rest, and now it's time to check them out. So let's do it. Alright guys, so here we have our lobster tails. Man, they came out really looking good here. And as I said, this is a very fast and very simple cook. But man, enough of that talking mumbo jumbo. We got to get into this. Let's taste this. Alright guys, so hey, before I taste this, y'all know what I got to do. If you're not a member of the Dawgfatha's Barbecue YouTube channel already, you might want to hit that button down there. Hit that join button next to the subscribe button, guys. And if you enjoy what you watch on this channel as well as what you saw in this video, make sure you check out a couple of videos I got linked right here, as well as click on that subscribe button up there, alright? Cheers, I'll see you in the next video.